Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to join me. In this video, I'm going to cover the top 15 options at both tight end and defense so we can make sure we make the best possible decisions and crush our opponents in an absolutely critical week 14. I'm also going to cover notable omissions through each of them so that I can let you know why I'm deciding to leave them out of my rankings. If you guys have any questions about starts or sits, drop those down below or reach out to me on Sleeper. I would love to be able to get back to you and help you out. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you really enjoy the content. Please like and subscribe. The support means the world to me. It helps me out a ton as I continue to fight to get every subscriber I can get on my journey to my first 100. With all of that said, done, and out of the way, let's get into week 14's tight end rankings. My number one tight end of the week, staying at home against the Raiders, it is Travis Kelce. And after finally cooling off from a torrid 3-game stretch, Kelce put up just 27 yards on 8 targets against Denver. In this top 2 matchup with Vegas, who nearly allow 18 points a game to tight ends, he's gonna bounce back big time. The last 2 times that Kelce finished outside of wide receiver 2 land as he did last week, he responded with a combined 125 yards and a pair of scores. Moving on to 2, and traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, I have George Kittle. I knew Kittle would go off sans Debo, but not to the tune of 181 yards and 2 scores. It was a magnificent performance. He will keep his streak alive and make it 5 of 6 finishes in the top 5 against Cincy in a must-win for San Francisco. On to 3, it's Mark Andrews, who travels to Cleveland. And Andrews missed a few opportunities against the Steelers as he struggled with drops, including that game-winning 2-point conversion as the Ravens went for it. He still recorded a respectable 50 yards, and he landed just outside of tight end 1 range. He gets back there this week in a rematch from 2 weeks ago when he finished as the tight end 4 overall with 65 yards and a score. At home against Buffalo, my 4th ranked player is Rob Gronkowski. With back-to-back top 3 finishes, Gronk continues to show the patience in his recovery was the right decision. He hasn't finished outside of the top 10 since coming back fully healthy, and even a tough matchup with the Bills will not faze him. Rounding out my top 5, it's TJ Hockenson, who travels to Denver to take on the Broncos. And Hockenson was able to see a solid target share as the Lions pieced together an offense without their star and responded with another tight end 1 showing his 2nd straight. It's likely that DeAndre Swift is out once more, and I expect another 8 targets or so here as Detroit's best offensive weapon. Moving on to 6, on the road against Minnesota, it is Pat Freiermuth. And the volume hasn't quite been there over the last 2 weeks. He's seen just 4 targets in each of them, but he's not going to need a ton of looks against Minnesota. The Vikings gave up 2 touchdowns to tight ends last week, so there's a good shot they give up another one on Thursday night to Pat. Traveling to Tampa Bay, and in at number 7, it is Dawson Knox. Now, due to the conditions, we throw away last week like it didn't happen and move on to the next. Knox should shine in a solid matchup here and has 19 targets over his last 3. Allen will look to him often for security against a bruising Bucs front 7, and Tampa allows top 10 numbers to the position on the season. At 8, it is Dalton Schultz, who goes on the road to face the football team. With 3 straight finishes in the top 14, Schultz has once again shown a solid floor, restoring owners' trust. He has 43 yards or more in 8 out of his last 10, and we bank on that in one of fantasy's most crucial weeks. At home against the Rams, and in at 9, it is Zach Ertz. And it was a game to forget for Ertz, who saw just 2 targets last week in a blowout of the Bears. I expect there to be a lot more action through the air this time around, and a solid rebound performance should follow. Sneaking into my top 10 with a home matchup on Thursday night against Pittsburgh, it is Tyler Conklin. And after Adam Thielen sustained that high ankle sprain on just his second target of the day, it was Gronklin who stepped up for Minnesota, seeing 9 targets and racking up 56 yards en route to the finish as the week's tight end 7. I think heavy usage is in store from here on out, which makes him a solid streaming option for the stretch run. My 11th ranked player on the week is Kyle Pitts. He goes on the road to face the Panthers. And while it wasn't the get-right game that we were hoping for, the 48 yards and 7 targets against Tampa was encouraging. In a difficult matchup here, we hope that Pitts breaks his 7-game scoreless streak, but we don't feel great about it. My last tight end 1 option in a home matchup with the Lions is Noah Fant. Fant's 8 targets in his last 2 leave a lot to be desired, but a Lions matchup is always a welcome sight. I think Fant capitalizes on it and helps the Broncos stay in the playoff hunt. To 13 we go, and it's Ricky Seals-Jones making his return. He gets a home matchup with Dallas, and the Cowboys are nearly allowing 14 points a game to tight ends, which is 11th most in the league. Ricky has filled in admirably before, and he averaged nearly 6 targets per game while filling in for Logan Thomas earlier in the season. Moving on, Tyler Higbee travels to Arizona. He's in at 14. And Higbee has 2 tight end 1 finishes in his last 3, and he's seen 29 targets in his last 4. We have to love that volume in this offense, and owners can have confidence in him for the final stretch. With a little caveat, at 15, I have Foster Moreau, who travels to Kansas City. This is a situation to monitor, as it seems that there is a chance Darren Waller toughs it out and suits up for the desperate Raiders. Houston is 9th worst in the league versus the position and allow nearly 15 points a game, so whoever is the starter here is going to have a chance for a big day. Into my notable omissions, I start with Jared Cook, who has a home matchup against the Giants. And with just 1 finish inside the top 22 in his last 4 and no games with even 30 yards in that stretch, now is not the time to roll the dice with so much at stake. Gerald Everett is the last tight end I'm looking to avoid in week 14. He travels to Houston, and Everett is awfully lucky that the Hawks won last week, because if they didn't, that L could have been well on him. He had 2 fumbles, including that one where he dropped it in the end zone, leading to an interception as the Hawks barely held on. He gets the silent treatment here against Houston as a consequence. With tight ends all complete, let's get into week 14's defenses. Traveling on the road to face the New York Jets, the New Orleans Saints are my top defense of the week. Do not be fooled by Zach Wilson's performance last week. This rookie still has a lot to learn. The New Orleans front is going to terrorize him all day and probably force a few turnovers as well. On to 2 we go. I have the Chargers defense, who suddenly has an awesome matchup against the New York Giants at home. The Chargers are the streamer of the week for me, as they are set to face off against Jake Fromm, who has been in New York all of a week. I do not like his chances, to say the least. To 3, it's the Packers defense. They stay at home against the Chicago Bears. Moving on to 4, I have the Denver Broncos defense. They get Detroit at home. Holding Mahomes to 184 yards passing is no small feat, and defenses facing the Lions score an average of 8 points per game. My top 5 ends with the Tennessee Titans taking on Jacksonville at home. Next up at 6, it's the Carolina Panthers staying at home to face Atlanta. If you are playing a defense, you want to do so against Atlanta, who allow over 10 points a game to the position. Carolina gets right in a big way here. Into 7, it's the Dallas Cowboys defense. They travel to Washington to take on the football team. And at 8, I have the Arizona Cardinals defense staying at home against the Rams, who are usually in a void, but Arizona has been solid in their last 4, causing 9 turnovers and compiling 12 sacks. They will be solid against LA. The Seattle Seahawks are my 9th ranked defense. They get Houston on the road. And rounding out my top 10, I have the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They're at home against Vegas. The incredible turnaround continues, and back-to-back top 3 finishes for Kansas City make them an excellent option for owners. At 11, I have the Ravens defense against Cleveland, and rounding out my top 12, it's the same game, but the Browns defense against Baltimore. Now, 2 weeks ago, these two squared off, and the Browns finished as a top 10 play. I like their chances here to be able to keep this score down and cause issues for the sputtering Lamar Jackson. At 13, I have the Tampa Bay Bucks defense. They stay at home against the Bills. I have Washington's football team next at 14. They stay at home against Dallas. And I am confident enough with Washington's play as of late to promote them as a low-tier option. It certainly helps that Dak and the Cowboys have been inconsistent offensively over the last couple of weeks. Into 15, it's the 49ers defense traveling to Cincinnati. And with those out of the way, let's get into my notable omissions. It starts with the Bills, who travel to Tampa Bay, and this is all about not betting against Tom Brady from December onward. The last defense I'll talk about and one I am trying to avoid is the Rams defense traveling to Arizona, and it just hasn't been the same defense in LA this year, and the Cardinals are dangerous, they're hot, and they are back at full strength. And that will do it for me in this video. Thank you guys so much for taking some time and joining me for it. If you have any start-sit questions, drop them down below. I would love to get back with you and help you out. If you are new to the channel, if you enjoyed the content, I would really appreciate you considering liking and subscribing. It means the world to me and helps me out a ton. This is Relentless Press. I'm your host, Abraham Opatz, and we'll see you next time.